Welcome to History Mysteries, where we dive deep into the hidden and fascinating stories of the past. Today we'll be exploring one of the most remarkable dynasties in European history, the Habsburgs. This family ruled for almost 1,000 years, influencing the politics, religion, and culture of Europe in ways that are still felt today. From their modest origins to their reign over an empire that spanned continents, and finally to their fall after World War I. The Habsburgs left an extraordinary legacy, so let's explore their incredible story, layer by layer. The founding and early power plays. Let's just start at the very beginning. Around the year 1020. The Habsburg dynasty wasn't born into power. They had to build it. Count Radbot, a nobleman in what is now Switzerland, built Habsburg Castle, giving the family its name. For centuries, the Habsburgs were just one of many small noble families in the Holy Roman Empire. What set them apart was their relentless ambition and ability to seize opportunities. By the 12th century, the Habsburgs began to gain influence, especially through clever alliances and careful marriages, but they weren't a major power yet. That all changed in 1273, when Rudolf I was elected as King of Germany. This was a pivotal moment for the family. At the time, Germany was part of the sprawling, chaotic entity known as the Holy Roman Empire, which wasn't an empire in the traditional sense, but a collection of hundreds of semi-independent states. After becoming king, Rudolf expanded his territories by defeating Ottokar II of Bohemia, adding Austria and Styria to the family's holdings. This gave the Habsburgs a foothold in what would become their power base, Austria. From here, they would grow into a dynasty that shaped European history for centuries. Chapter 2: The Marriage Game. Maximilian I and the art of diplomacy. While many dynasties focused on winning territory through wars, the Habsburgs took a different approach, strategic marriages. This was best exemplified by Maximilian I, a ruler so skilled at marrying into power that he transformed the family's fortunes without drawing too many swords. Maximilian's marriage to Mary of Burgundy in 1477 was a game changer. Burgundy was one of the wealthiest regions in Europe, and this union added vast territories in the Netherlands, Belgium, and parts of France to the Habsburg domain. It wasn't just a marriage, it was a massive territorial acquisition, and it set the tone for future Habsburg expansions. But Maximilian wasn't done. He secured another crucial marriage by having his son, Philip the Handsome, marry Joanna of Castile, the daughter of Spain's famous Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella. Through this marriage, the Habsburgs would eventually inherit not only Spain but also its vast colonial empire in the Americas. This marriage truly set the Habsburgs on the path to becoming a global superpower. Chapter 3: Charles V, ruler of an empire where the sun never set. Now let's talk about Charles V, one of the most famous Habsburg rulers. When Charles inherited his empire in the early 16th century, it was one of the largest in history. He ruled Spain, the Netherlands, the Holy Roman Empire, enormous territories in the Americas. The phrase, "the empire on which the sun never sets," was coined to describe his rule because at any given time it was daytime somewhere in his empire. Charles wasn't just a ruler of vast lands, he also had to deal with enormous challenges. One of the biggest was the Protestant Reformation, which began in 1517 when Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door in Wittenberg. This religious movement shattered the unity of Catholic Europe, and Charles, a devout Catholic, spent much of his reign trying to hold his empire together while battling Protestant uprisings. Despite his efforts, Charles V was forced to make concessions. The Protestant princes within the Holy Roman Empire gained more autonomy, and the unity Charles dreamed of began to unravel. Exhausted by the endless conflicts, Charles did something extraordinary. He abdicated in 1556, splitting his empire between his brother Ferdinand I, who took the Holy Roman Empire, and his son Philip II, who inherited Spain and its vast colonial possessions. Chapter 4. The Habsburgs in Spain. Golden Age to Crisis. Under Philip II, the Spanish Habsburgs reached their peak of power. Spain was the richest nation in Europe, largely thanks to the immense wealth flowing in from its colonies in the Americas. But being a superpower came with its own set of problems. Philip II's reign saw a mix of triumph and trouble. On one hand, Spain's global empire was unmatched, and its wealth funded a magnificent cultural blossoming, the Spanish Golden Age. On the other hand, Philip faced enormous challenges, including revolts in the Netherlands, wars with England, and conflicts with the Ottoman Empire. One of the most famous events during Philip II's reign was the defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. Philip had launched the Armada to invade England and overthrow Queen Elizabeth I, but the plan backfired. England's smaller, faster ships, combined with bad weather, decimated the Spanish fleet. This defeat marked the beginning of the end for Spain's dominance, though the Habsburgs would hold on for another century. Chapter 5. The Austrian Habsburgs and the 30 Years' War. While the Spanish Habsburgs were facing crisis, their Austrian cousins were embroiled in one of the most devastating conflicts in European history, the 30 Years' War. This war, which lasted from 1618 to 1648, began as a religious conflict between Catholic and Protestant states within the Holy Roman Empire. But it quickly grew into a much larger war involving almost every major European power, including France, Sweden, and Spain. The Habsburgs, being devout Catholics, fought to maintain their authority over the empire and to suppress Protestantism, but the war was disastrous for both sides. Entire regions were ravaged, cities destroyed, and millions of lives lost. By the time war ended with the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, the Holy Roman Empire had been severely weakened, and the Habsburgs' dreams of a Catholic unified empire were gone. The war also marked the end of religious unity in Europe, as Protestantism was now firmly established. Chapter 6. The Rise of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Despite the setbacks of the 30 Years' War, the Habsburgs found a way to reinvent themselves. In the 18th century, they shifted their focus to Austria and Hungary, consolidating their power in Central Europe. In 1867, they created the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a dual monarchy that combined Austria and Hungary under one crown. This new empire was ruled by Franz Joseph I, one of the most significant Habsburg emperors. His reign lasted over 60 years, from 1848 to 1916, making him one of the longest reigning monarchs in European history. Under Franz Joseph, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was a multi-ethnic realm with Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Serbs, Croats, and many other nationalities living under the Habsburg crown. However, this diversity also made the empire fragile. Ethnic tensions simmered beneath the surface, with various national groups demanding greater autonomy or even independence. Chapter 7. The Assassination That Changed Everything. The Habsburgs' fall from power was sealed by one tragic event, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914. Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was killed in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. This assassination set off a chain of events that plunged Europe into World War I. World War I was a disaster for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The empire was already stretched thin by internal divisions, and the war only made things worse. By 1918, the empire was collapsing from within, with various ethnic groups declaring independence. Austria-Hungary officially dissolved at the end of the war, marking the end of the Habsburg dynasty's nearly 1,000-year reign. The Habsburgs may have fallen from power, but their legacy endures. For nearly a millennium, they shaped the history of Europe through a combination of strategic marriages, military conquest, and political cunning. They ruled over an empire that stretched from the Americas to the heart of Europe, and even in their decline, they left a lasting impact on the political map of the continent. Thanks for watching History Mysteries. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Habsburgs dynasty, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And stay tuned for more explorations into the empires, mysteries, and legends of history.